The most disappointing thing about Terminator Resistance isn't just that it's bad and yet it's probably still the best Terminator game I've ever played. While there might already be a truly great Terminator game in some alternate universe's timeline, in this one the wait continues.
Closer. Come on, a little closer. Come on. Yeah. Come on.
Alright boys and girls, I hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, today boys, I want to talk to you about Terminator Resistance. Now, I've been playing this game over the last few days. I've finished it, and I want to give you guys my opinion on it. Obviously, I've been playing a lot of Terminator games over the last few days because we've got Terminator Zero literally coming out in, I think, one day. I'm hoping that's going to be good, but I don't really know what to make of it. Terminator haven't exactly been giving us amazing things, you know, when it comes to, like, movies and stuff. Like, the last few movies are terrible, so I'm hoping it's going to be good. I've got my fingers crossed, but again, I really don't know. In terms of Terminator Resistance though, guys, I heard very mixed things coming into this game. Like, the majority of the fans of this game love this game. Like, most people that have actually played it and are like big fans of Terminator really like this game. But then all the like critic scores for this game are really low. I think IGN gave this game like a 4 out of 10. Okay, they did not look too kindly on it, but it is IGN. Okay, IGN haven't got a bloody clue, let's be honest.
Stupid motherfucker right there. Everyone point at the stupid boy.
And I think it's also worth mentioning that the people that made this game, Teon, have made a couple of other games. They made the absolutely amazing RoboCop game. I love this game. It's one of my favorite PS5 games. I just love RoboCop, and this game was just perfect to me. But they also did make another game which is not so good, and that was the Rambo game. That game was on PS3, and I actually bought that game at a car boot sale. I think it was like £3, and I remember seeing it. I was like, I didn't even know there was a Rambo game. I'm pretty sure this was at the New Forest car boot, and the game hadn't been out for very long, so £3 for this game was actually a really good deal, and I probably should have kept the game because it's actually worth quite a bit of money now. Anyway, point is, I played that game and it was pretty bad, alright? It was a pretty terrible game. It was very low budget and it just wasn't very good. And then, of course, you've got Terminator Resistance, so again, wasn't too sure what to think because people like it, critics don't like it, they've made good games, they've made bad games. I was in a bit of a mixed spot with it, but I'm very happy to report, guys, that I honestly really enjoyed this game. It's not perfect, it's not flawless, it definitely has a few issues, but on the whole, really good game, and I would thoroughly recommend it if you haven't played it. So yeah, let's dive into this game then, boys. Okay, let's start off with the story. I'm not going to go into the story because I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't played it, but I will just say I do like the story here. I thought it was really well done. There's a couple of like dull and boring moments throughout the story. It's not all perfect. There's a few characters that I'll be honest, I didn't really care that much about.
I don't care. I told you I don't care!
But there is two things about this story that I really did like, okay? The first thing is that your character choices actually make a difference to the story. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know how much of a difference it makes because I've only played it once, but it's one of those games where you've got dialogue options and whatever you pick will impact the story, so I really enjoyed that. But the thing I liked about the story the most here, guys, is the way that it sort of ties into the movies, at least with the ending that I got. I don't know if there's different endings, I'm assuming there is, but the ending I got, and again, I won't spoil it, it basically sort of set up the events of that first movie, so I'm really itching to go back and watch Terminator 1 now after playing this, because I've not watched the first Terminator in ages. I often watch Terminator 2, because obviously Terminator 2 is such a classic. I need to go back and watch the first one again though, because it's a great movie, I just haven't seen it in a long time. But the main thing about this game, guys, of course, is the gameplay, and in my opinion, the gameplay here was really good. I really enjoyed almost every second I spent with this game. It was just a very fun shooter, okay? This is a first-person shooter, obviously set in the Terminator universe, and it's really good. One of the best things about this game by far, in my opinion, is the T-800s. I don't think a game in the Terminator universe has done the T-800s better than this game. They really made them a true menace in this game. Okay, they are really challenging in my opinion. Now, I do want to preface that it is my opinion that the T-800s are challenging, because I don't think everyone will actually agree with that. I watched G-Man's video on this game just to make sure I didn't like miss anything when I was going to talk about this game. And one of his criticisms of the game was that it was actually too easy for him, and he was playing on hard difficulty, and he was saying that the T-800s were like super easy to beat, and I had a double take for a minute. I was like, did I just hear that right? Did he just say this game is too easy? Because I honestly found this game super challenging.
Really, my major complaint with the game though is that it's just too easy. I played the game on hard mode, and even then it was barely a challenge.
Hey yo, what the fuck? I had to like look myself in the mirror for a minute and think, Am I a game journalist, alright? Do I work for IGN here? Like, what's going on? I'm not that bad at games. I don't think I am. I'm not great at them, I will admit, but, you know, I've beaten Sekiro, I've beaten Cuphead, or I've beaten some hard stuff, but I found this game pretty tough. It wasn't, like, the hardest game I've ever played, but it definitely wasn't easy, especially in the early game. Like, the very first few enemies I encountered were fucking me up on a regular basis. I felt like ammo was a bit more scarce in the first few hours, and the T-800s in the beginning of the game especially were so tough to me, alright? Like, the very first encounter with them, you basically have no guns and you can't really fight them. You have to sneak by them, and they were, like, really menacing, honestly. It almost was like a horror game in this part. Like, you're sneaking by them and they've got those menacing red eyes, and as soon as they catch you, they fuck you up, okay? And again, it was super intense. A little bit later on, you do unlock, like, plasma weapons, so you can fight back, but I still found them really challenging, because, again, they come in numbers, and they do super insane damage, and it really didn't take much for me to get into a tight spot, and I would just get fucked up by them. And if you do, like, run out of ammo in this game with, like, the plasma weapons, you can't really fight them, and there were a couple occasions where I had literally no ammo for my plasma weapons, and there was nothing I could do. Like, you can get them with explosives, but if you've got no explosives, no plasma weapons, your other guns do no damage, and I mean that literally. If you shoot them with an AR, it literally says you aren't doing any damage, okay? So it's not like a minimal amount of damage, it is 0 damage. You have to have plasma weapons or, like, you know, explosives. And there were a couple of moments in this game where I had to get really crafty, alright? Because I didn't have, like, crazy amount of ammo, and I just had to almost just get by, you know? And I liked those moments, but it was challenging. As the game progresses, they do get easier and easier because the weapons you get do get better, especially towards, like, the end of the game. There was a point where I had, like, rocket launchers that would literally just blow them up into a million pieces. You had this, like, plasma minigun that was just ridiculously overpowered, not to mention there was, like, a better version of the plasma gun that I already had that just did significantly more damage. And at that point, I will admit the T-800s were easy, but I feel like I needed that, okay? The amount of suffering they caused me in the early hours of this game, where I was actually fearing them, and then you get to the end of the game and it's almost like a power trip. You are just messing up these T-800s. They feel like cannon fodder at this point, and again, I felt like I needed that. I just felt so good.
I will massacre you! I will fuck you up!
I just really enjoyed the progression in this game. You start off, you're weak, you haven't got a lot of skills in your skill tree, you're just about getting by, and by the end of the game, you're just a Terminator killing machine, okay? You are Skynet's worst enemy, you are destroying everybody, and it's so fun. Now, when it comes to the gameplay, you won't just be shooting Terminators. I mean, that's 90% of it, but there is a couple of other things. I did slightly mention the stealth here, but you will have to sort of use stealth to get by in a lot of situations, because, again, like, you can just get overrun by the Terminators. There is a fair bit of sneaking that needs to be done in this game, unless you're just a god gamer and you're just so good at the game that you can blast them all to pieces. But I certainly used stealth quite often, pretty much any time I could. I would get caught almost every time because I was just really bad at stealth in this game, and I also felt like it was really easy to get detected sometimes. I swear those pesky T-800s had eyes on the back of their head, right? They just would always catch me. So yeah, you definitely have to use a little bit of stealth in this game. Another thing this game does is lock picking. It's just a really basic mini game, not particularly exciting. You just have to find the point where you can unlock it, and I don't know, it's there. You have to, like, pick a lot of doors. Another thing you have to do in this game a lot is hacking. Now, normally I really don't like hacking in video games because they make you do a mini game that's usually super boring and dull, but in this game I actually liked the mini game here. It's basically like Frogger, and I like Frogger, I will admit, so I actually quite enjoyed the hacking in this game, and there's no shortage of it here. There's a lot of hacking you need to do in this game, but I didn't mind, alright? I could have hacked a million more times and I would have been happy, because it's basically Frogger. And the hacking basically lets you unlock certain doors, or there will be turrets you can hack and they can, like, fight on your team, so definitely super helpful. And that's pretty much the extent of the gameplay here, guys. A lot of sneaking, a lot of shooting, a lot of hacking, and a bit of lockpicking, and that's pretty much it. Also, there is a skill tree, so you can, you know, unlock abilities. Super basic, okay? It's not going to be, you know, blowing your brain out with craziness. It's really basic, you know, upgraded weapons, damage, upgraded health, that sort of thing. Really basic stuff. But honestly, guys, I didn't really mind that. Like, the worst thing for me is when there's a skill tree and all of the upgrades are super complicated with different button inputs, and it always confuses me. I don't mind a simple skill tree. It gave me something to look forward to when I unlocked a skill point, so I was happy enough. Okay, guys, guys, so we've mentioned all the things I like about this game. I guess it's time we talk about a couple of things I didn't like, and it's not a lot, honestly. I did enjoy the majority of this game, but there's a couple of things I had problems with. Obviously, this game hasn't got like the craziest, most ridiculous budget. You can tell it's like a B game, it's definitely not AAA. So there's definitely a few moments in this game when the voice acting is questionable, to say the least. Some characters are voice acted well enough, but sometimes it's really wooden and sort of stiff voice acting.
Jacob, thank you for finding him for me. I promise I'll take good care of him. Now, what should I call him?
Well, that was absolutely awful.
Another thing I found a bit jarring about this game was like the romance options. Now, in this game, basically, you have a couple of opportunities to have sex, alright? And I never really like these in video games because they're always really cringe, and this game is no different. There's something about first-person sex scenes in video games. They're always just so off-putting. Like, it just doesn't look right. It just, I don't know. It was the same with Cyberpunk at times. It was always really like, what are we doing here? Thankfully, it is optional, you don't have to do them, but I wanted to see them just out of morbid curiosity, and it just looks off to me, I don't know. So yeah, pretty much, guys, I think that's all of my thoughts on Terminator Resistance. I don't think I have anything else really to talk about. I thoroughly enjoyed this game, I had an absolute blast with it, and if you've not played this game and you're a Terminator fan, I definitely recommend it. Before I let you guys go, though, guys, I do want to ask you guys in the comments, was this game too easy or too hard for you? I want to know, like, how you felt about the difficulty. For me, it was just right. This game was a nice, firm challenge. It wasn't too easy, it definitely wasn't too hard, it was right in the middle, but maybe slightly above the middle. I don't know, it was nice and tough, but it was definitely not too easy or too hard. But let me know in the comments how you felt. Other than that, though, boys and girls, if you're new here, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Peace.